Man, boy, oh boy, oh boy. What a game. Aaron, it's good to see. I don't know how many people we're going to have on here tonight because it's so late, but all the loyal Yankee fans, Bunny, I appreciate you being on here. Aaron, yeah, man, got to save. It's a relatively clean inning. 12 in a row, baby. 12 in a row. You'll still see it on the TV in the background there. They're all patting each other in the butt and stuff. 12 in a row, baby. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, they're on a roll right now. Yeah, there's still 4 games. Well, actually, I don't think Tampa played today, so I think they're now they might be 3.5 back from the race. I think I could be wrong. If they won, then it's still 4 games. But I think if they get it close enough, they'll close the gap. And going into that last week or two of the season, if they're between 1 or 2 games or within 1 or 2 games, they got a shot at the division. So we'll see. West End 125. What a game! Well, thanks for coming on so late. This is awesome. Let's recap them while we're here. I mean, 12 wins in a row for the Yankees, and anybody who's on there this late, way to go, guys. So it was James Caprillion, former Yankee prospect, against Jameson Taillon. Caprillion went 5 innings, 6 hits, 6 runs, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. Taillon did not have it tonight. He went 3 2/3, 4 hits, 5 runs, 4 strikeouts, and 3 walks. He didn't have it, obviously. Sean, what's good, man? W. Thank you guys for coming on so late, man. I really appreciate you guys here. 71 games decided by 1 or 2. Yeah, they're 48-23 in games, and it's the best record in baseball in games that are decided by 1 or 2 runs. So that's a hell of a performance. Judge, huge clutch hit by Judge to put him up 7-6 in the end there. And a big stolen base by Tyler Wade too, and thankfully the bad throw he got over. Key, absolutely key, and that's why he scored. So it was perfect, and it was getting. And I got to tell you, let's go through the game here. So in the second, Stanton hit that monster home run to put him up 1-0. Right, Gardner put him up 2-0 with a home run, and then Rizzo got an RBI double opposite field, put him up 3-0, and then Gallo with that monster 3-run home run, 6-0. And you thought they were kind of cruising, and Taillon was kind of cruising, but then Sean Murphy comes up, and Matt Chapman both hit solo home runs, put them up 6-2. Okay, and then Chapman drew a bases loaded walk in the fourth to make it 6-3. Andrews with a 2-run single to make it 6-5, and then Josh Harrison hit that big opposite field home run to make it 6-6, and it was tied at that point. So, thankfully, the Yankees bullpen came through. Albert Abreu came in 1 1/3, 1 hit, 1 run, 2 strikeouts to finish the fourth and through the fifth. Clay Holmes drew a clean 6th, 3 strikeouts. Johnny Lasagna, the 7th and the 8th, kept us in there. And then I got to tell you, when Chapman came in, they said initially that they were going to throw Chad Green out there, so I just felt a little bit better. But when I saw Chapman warming up, I was like, oh my God, I got stressed. I really did. And I got some agita. So, but thankfully he got the save. He closed it out, and they won their 12th straight game. So, hell of a game by the Yankees. They need to win games like this too. So, welcome everybody for coming on so late. I'm really, really glad that you're all here. And make sure you hit those like buttons if you haven't hit them yet. I'm really trying to get the likes up, and I really appreciate you guys. But Cole's on the mound tomorrow against Sean Manaea, so that'll be a really good game. And I think Cole will. I'm hoping that we get that 13th straight win tomorrow, so it'll be phenomenal. And I initially thought we're going to at least split this series, maybe 2 games to 2. And they have a shot at winning this series. So especially after winning the first game, which was a big hurdle to get over. So, but and Caprillion hung in there too today. I got to give it to him. Former top Yankees pitching prospect. So, but yeah, it wasn't the prettiest win, Andrew. You're 100% right. But they got to win pretty. They got to win ugly. They got to win stressful. As long as they win and not lose, I'm happy with that. So I really am. And they're winning all types of games, man. 12 in a row. So let's keep this bad boy rolling, man. And we are looking good. We're definitely looking good, Wolfgang. Yeah, Sean, I could see a 3-1 series as well. That's what I see in the back of my mind. At the worst, splitting it, but 3-1 sounds better. 4-0 sounds even better than that. So we'll see. Oh God, Ump's making terrible calls, and that's why Boone was ejected in the second. I mean, terrible call on Judge, terrible call on Gallo, terrible strike calls, man. What is this guy doing? Terrible. I'm glad that Stanton came up and just punished that ball, to say, better not be calling that stuff on me too, man. But Gallo hit a bomb later. Stanton hit that bomb. And Gardner hit a nice home run too. So, Stephen Lowe, what's up, buddy? What's going on, man? Glad you guys are all on here with me tonight, man. We're going to do East Coast, 1:30 in the morning, bro. It's phenomenal. Loyal, diehard Yankee fans, man. So I appreciate all you guys being on here. Sweep would be phenomenal, Rob. It really would. It really would. I mean, but again, the Yankees I think they're in a position to keep winning series. And I'm more curious about the Toronto series. Toronto's been a little bit down lately, and I'm obviously really curious about the Rays series. But their schedule is fairly favorable for the rest of the season, so that encourages me. It really does. And Tampa Bay's schedule is a little bit tougher than the Yankees, so that also encourages me. But Tampa's just that good, so tough series, easy series. They win, they just keep winning, man. So as long as the Yankees keep pace, they should be okay. I mean, Taillon's good, man. He had like 10 straight ace type starts, so this was bound to happen, Fritz. I mean, it's like it was bound to happen, and yeah, he could be a 2. I mean, if we had a 4-man playoff rotation, I'd probably see like Cole, and then Cortez, Nestor, then Taillon, then Montgomery. Make a righty lefty kind of rotation. That's what I would see. But maybe I'm not sure. I'm not sure with Hill and Herman and some of these other guys coming out of the bullpen. But they're set up nicely for the playoffs, I think, for their rotation. So, and if you haven't heard, Corey Kluber's coming back. He's pitching Monday night in Anaheim, so he will be back. We'll see what we get from the Kluber. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I mean, Rizzo and Gallo have made somewhat of a difference in their own way. I mean, they haven't like won games and walk-offs and stuff like that, but Rizzo's made a difference defensively at first base. Gallo's hitting some home runs, but he's just not hitting them in key situations yet. He hit one, but I think it's still a little early to kind of judge him too harshly yet. But I get what you mean, man. Yeah, dude, I haven't seen Chapman Aaron get a strikeout with a splitter in probably a month or so, man. So I'm glad he got that second out on that splitter. And that splitter was nasty, man. It tailed away far, man. So he's got to use it more. He's got to be more confident in it, man. Just, it was a new out pitch. Might as well take advantage of it, man. It's, yeah, and dude, and Timothy, Gardner and Tyler Wade. I mean, they've been really, really, really good, especially since the All-Star break. And I gotta give it to both of them. They've been catalysts for the Yankees. Key hits, stolen bases, driving guys over, all different types of stuff. Stanton is a beast. I don't see him being pulling out. When he's hot like this, he's on a tear. You can't take him out of the lineup. There's no way. So, and even if we play DH, you play him a couple games in outfield, then you put him in DH for one game or something like that. But as long as you keep him in that freaking lineup when he's hot, you have to do it. And Judge too. And if he's hot, you got to keep him in the lineup no matter what. So, even though I think one day off here and there won't hurt them momentum-wise, but you keep them in there as much as you possibly can when these guys are on a heater. So, Kluber, Fritz, he won't be on his peak. He only got to he never got through 4 innings in his rehab assignment. So I would expect maybe 4 innings out of him, and then don't be surprised if they bring in Heaney to throw the next 4 or 5, or something like that. And then try to not to use the bullpen that much that day. That would be my guess. It would probably be a combo of Kluber and Heaney that day, if they don't DFA Heaney. Louis Hill and Greg Allen, Matt. Those are my 2 picks for the roster expansion and to go to 28. So those are my 2 guys, Hill and Allen, to come up. So Chapman did look solid. He had a couple wild pitches, but he looked better than he did before. I'm glad he got that save. I think it's a confidence booster for him. Judge definitely been clutch recently. Definitely been clutch. Fritz, I don't know, man. Honestly, I've been saying this too. We've been talking about this recently too about re-signing Rizzo. I mean, I think it depends on what they do at Voit and what they decide to do at shortstop. Because then I think that's going to have a kind of ripple effect on other positions because you got to keep in mind DJs with Gio here at third base. And if they don't sign a shortstop, they keep Torres at second. I mean, at short, then you put DJ at second base. then you have, I could see if they move Voit for pitching, then I can see the logic in signing Rizzo. But if they don't, if they decide to go Torres at second, bring in a shortstop, play Gio at third, then you probably play DJ at first, which doesn't leave room for either one of those guys. So I don't know, man. I really think it depends on what they do with Voit and what they decide at shortstop, because I think if they can figure out a way to move Torres to second, they can even move Gio to shortstop because he's got better range, DJ at third, okay, and then do a Rizzo if they can keep both of them, that would be phenomenal. Just rotate them with first base and DH and all that stuff. But I don't know if they'll do that. But it is possible. It really is possible. Instead of spending, because Rizzo's going to cost like probably between $70 and $80 million over 4 years, but it's cheaper than Seager for $200 million at shortstop. So, just my opinion as well. East Coast guy from New York. Dude, I grew up in Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan, man. Midtown, the West Side, baby. And been in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Albuquerque is beautiful. I've been there for running. I used to be a competitive runner, and it's absolutely beautiful. Mentioned it before. 11:34, man. Yeah, it's 1:35 over here, so it's late on the East Coast, but that's okay. I mean, you stay up and watch these games, and I'm really glad that all you guys are on here. We're almost at 50 people, so that's great. I want to get to the point where we get 100 up on here, and I hope to get to that point. But I appreciate you guys being on here. Urshela, Velasquez, DJ, and Rizzo. Possible. I don't see Velasquez being a starter, but again, crazier things have happened. I mean, they'd have to move Torres for pitching and Voit for pitching in this particular scenario. So they'd have to get a lot back for both of them in order to have a scenario like this. But you never know. You really never know. So Cashman surprised me before. Which shortstop do you think were realistic? Probably Story and Seager, but if I was going to go either one, it would be Seager, just because he's younger and he's a lefty, and give us that lefty balance in the lineup. And he's a clutch postseason hitter. So I would go with Seager if they decided to do that. So, but I don't know, man. That's one of the tough decisions that Cashman has in front of him this offseason. Voit, I like Voit, man. I really do. I like Rizzo too, but I mean, Voigt's we're kind of emotionally attached to a Voit because he's been here for a couple of years now. And when he traded him over here, and he was a major league home run leader last year, he's a little bit of a vocal leader too. And he's outspoken. So as a New York guy, I like that. And that's why I like Cole too, because he's an outspoken guy. And Rizzo's also outspoken. That's one reason why they brought him here. So his intangibles are, a leadership. So he's got good leadership intangibles. But again, Voit too. So if they can figure out a way to keep both, I mean, I'm all for that. I really am. But again, I could see Rizzo going back to the Cubs. I could see Rizzo going to Boston. Like, I could see this. I could see somebody overpaying for him too, giving him $100 million. I personally wouldn't do that if I was the Yankees, but because you have Voit for 3 more seasons at essentially a league minimum, so you might as well take advantage of that too. And again, you only flip a guy like that unless you're going to get a frontline starting pitcher in return. It's the only way I do it. Really, it's the only way I do it. Yeah, Sean, let's get those likes up, man. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. I appreciate it, man. It's really helpful to this channel. And Hicks, yeah, I mean, Sean, I don't know if they're going to release Hicks. I think they're going to try to establish. I think they're going to try to establish him being healthy next year, and then so he can get a little trade value up, and then move him for somebody. It's better than getting nothing for him and releasing him, because they would still be on the hook for like $50 million over the next 5 years. So I don't know if they would want to do that. I think they would want to try to get a team to acquire it. I could see them eating money to move Hicks, but I don't know if they'd release him because they still have 5 years left on his contract. So. Even though it's a reasonable contract for a center fielder of his production, he's had a hard time staying healthy over the last 2 seasons. So, I mean, Dom, if they establish that he's healthy, I can see him being moved. Either this off season or maybe even during spring training. Guys are sometimes moved in spring training too, so I could see that as well. Voit is injury prone. It's kind of funky injuries, but he's also a big dude. So, he's had some like hit by pitch injuries, and like it's kind of like Judge type injuries where it's just not weak chronic legs, this, that, all the time. Like Stanton's injuries, generally his lower body, his calf, and it's not nothing in his upper body. He's an absolute Hulk. So it's kind of funny how that works. But if we can figure out a way to keep Voit healthy, it'd be good because he's got a good bat. He's got a good bat, man. Yeah, I mean, Timothy, I mean, I generally wouldn't invest in shortstop either because they have Torres and they have Gio. They have guys that they can, and they have guys that are like Volpe up and coming and Oswald Peraza up and coming. They have top prospects that they can plug in there and give opportunities to as well instead of spending 100, 200 million on a shortstop. So that's why I say the only way they do that is if they move Torres because Volpe's he's not ready yet, and Peraza might be ready, but I don't know if they're going to do that. But I would invest in pitching, man. Honestly, I would invest in pitching first. I would go after Carlos Rodon for the rotation, a lefty, and you take a flyer and you bring in another starter. You can never have too many starters. When the Yankees have had 3 or 4 starters down at the same time, this happens every year with the Yankees in the starting rotation. There's always injury, so I'd rather invest in the depth on that end, particularly since Davy Garcia is not really panning out right now, and Clark Schmidt, we still don't know what the hell is going on with Clark Schmidt. So our top pitching prospects just not a panned out. I like what Luis Hill. I like him. He looks really good. So, but again, I don't want them to rush him and then have him fizzle out either. So I hope that they are smart with him, and because he's got a big arm, I really do. He's got a huge arm. Carlos Correa and Trey. I mean, it's possible, Peter. Correa's clutch in the playoffs, man. I don't know if they're going to go after anybody who was involved in that Houston cheating scandal. I really don't. But again, I could be wrong, man. I'm wrong more than I'm not wrong. So, well, I tell you this, man, Aaron. Yeah, some of these umpires are terrible, man. They gotta do something with some of these umps. They just make these awful calls, and they come in bunches. Like either retrain them or move on. Like do something, man. Just don't put them behind the plate. If guys like that, don't put them behind the plate. It makes terrible calls, man. Terrible, terrible calls. Too many errors I wouldn't spend. Yeah, I mean, Dom, yeah. I mean, I personally, shortstop is not my first, it's not my first on my list of things to do this offseason for Yankees. Yeah, I mean, Robbie Ray, he's having a good second half of the season as well, Elvis. So that's a good name, too. Robbie Ray, and he's lefty. So Ray or Rodon would be good options here. So that's a good one, Elvis. Absolutely. Yeah, and Rizzo does bring a new dimension to the team. And again, he's got that vocal. He's kind of like part Tino Martinez with the kind of feisty leadership, and he's also part Don Mattingly with that bat, with that glove, man. He's a wizard at first base, man. Absolute wizard. Rodon and Castillo. Luis Castillo. Yeah, I mean, if you could trade for Luis Castillo and get Rodon, that's 2 sick additions to the rotation. That would be sick, absolutely sick. As long as they're not depriving guys like Hill an opportunity. But I could see these guys because Taillon has 1 more year on his deal. I don't see them bringing Kluber back, and I don't know what they're going to do with Herman. I mean, they might maybe long relief, and I don't know what they're going to do with Severino because he's still not right, man. And yeah, Clark Schmidt has had some freak injuries, absolutely, Sean. It's just unfortunate. It's just like Andujar and Torres. I mean, Andujar and Frazier. They keep having these freak injuries that are keeping them out and missing like 2 whole years of baseball, 2 critical years of development. And that stinks. I feel bad for both of them. Fritz, I would say so. He's probably still eyeing Castillo, but quietly. The thing with Cashman, like you never know. It's like Fort Knox. He has this tight group of people, and you never know what these guys are doing. Ever. He doesn't leak anything, ever. So until it actually happens, and all of a sudden, the Yankees have acquired blah, blah, blah. And you're like, what? What? So, and he does this all the time. He's very, very stealth about this stuff. So would I be surprised? Not at all on Castillo. Not at all. But I think he probably still has his eye on him. Home plate. Kyle definitely he definitely looked like an A's fan tonight. The home plate up. 100%, bro. 100%. Oh man. Yeah, he was awful. What's the first thing you do this offseason? Dom, yeah, I would go after Rodon or somebody like Robbie Ray. First matter of business right off the bat. Yep. That's what I would do. Starting pitching. And I would take see what it would cost to get Justin Verlander. Even if you get him on a moderate salary with boatloads of incentives, he's coming back from Tommy John. But like, he might be somebody intriguing because Rodon's going to cost us probably a 4 or 5 year deal. Verlander will not, obviously, because he's going to be 39. But he's still, right before he had Tommy John, he had a 2.2 ERA, 200. Like he's still a legitimate ace as long as he establishes his health, and it looks like he's healthy again. So, he would be somebody I would look out for, and I would hate for him to go back to Houston or like Oakland or something like. Ugh, I would hate that, or even Boston. That would suck. Oh yeah, 300th career save for Chapman today. Actually, I did not know that, Aaron. So that's a good one. Good. Thanks for pointing that out. Congrats to Aroldis on his 300th save. And Robert, I don't think Sevy's going to be able to go this season either. I don't, and I don't think Andujar or Frazier will either. I just don't. So it's unfortunate, but it stinks. It stinks. I wouldn't mind, Peter. I wouldn't mind getting Luis Castillo either because he's back to his normal self. He's a frontline starter. You could put him right to number 2, right behind Cole. Cole and Castillo would be a nasty 1-2. And then you have all these other guys. You got the mustache. He's only 27 years old. The mustache. He's got like 4 years of team control left. So, and if he keeps playing, the way he's playing, that's a gold find for the Yankees, man. Absolute gold. Yeah, Verlander is old, Sean, but he's still dominant. So, Nolan Ryan dominated until he was like 46. So did Randy Johnson. So I wouldn't put it past Verlander. He's a bulldog, man. Absolute bulldog. And he's got an arm. He's got an elite pitching arm. So, and again, he won't cost $100 million either. So keep Chapman. Yeah, that's, dude. John, I'm nervous with putting a Chapman in late innings against Houston or Tampa. That's when I'm really nervous. I'm glad he came through against the A's today. But those are the 2 teams that frighten me the most in the American League. They really do. That's when I would have Green and Wandy and Lasagna out in the back end, until Chapman proves that he can capably handle the 9th again. I'm not putting him in there. I was surprised that he brought him in today, and I was also pretty stressed out when it was confirmed that he was. I had some agita, man. I did. Do I think the Yankees are World Series contenders? I think they're close. My biggest fear is the Rays. My biggest fear is if the Yankees play Houston, I think they can take Houston. Again, if they play the Rays, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I would love it if they did, and I think if they go to the World Series, then they can win the World Series if they get there. That's kind of the way I feel about it right now. The Rays are just not slowing down at all, man. They're frustratingly good, man. Nestor, yeah, man. Dude, Peter Nestor he's just been quietly really, really good for the Yankees, and it's kind of we found out where the hell they found him. It's a pot of gold, man. So, and how can we not? How can we not put him out there right now? But yeah, Rodon and Castillo, Robert, would be my 2 kind of eyeballs this offseason. And and Jameson did lose control. He had a not a good night. But then he had like 10 or 11 straight starts where he was ace-like. So I expect him coming back down to earth, and he did today. So hopefully he makes some adjustments for the next game and comes back and throws better. So. Because we definitely need him. We need that frontline Taillon for the postseason, for sure. And dude, yeah, Timothy, same thing, man. Same thing. I was just getting like palpitations, like, oh, Chapman, jeez. And that's what I was. It was just stressful, man. It just reminds me of John Wetland from 1996 all the time. All the time. I had like 12 heart attacks a night watching John Wetland pitch. I'm like, oh my God, again? What the but he came through more often than not. But again, he had like 40 saves, like a 9-point-something ERA. But I'm glad he closed out the World Series. I'll tell you that much. In '96, they won, and he was on the mound in the 9th. So I'm really glad he came through. But who cleaned up things before him was Mariano Rivera. He was the setup guy in '96. So before he took over in '97, and and then the rest is all rock and roll baseball history. So we know Mo, greatest of all time closer. So if the World Series were today, Yankees, see the Brewers are another team that, again, like sneaky good, man. Like the Rays are just not a flashy team, but like not all the marquee names like the Dodgers and Padres and Yankees, but they're good, man. I could see them making a run too. They got good pitching, clutch players. I mean, and Christian Yelich is starting to come around. He's had a rough year and a half. His bat's starting to come around. If he gets hot, then he makes him really dangerous. Yelich. I watch out for him, man. He's still good. Miguel, Cole, Rodon, Castillo, Monty, and Taillon. And we didn't even mention Nestor. And it's like, but that would be a sick rotation. Absolute sick rotation. If you got both of them, oof, God. Crazy, and then we're not even including Hill either. So it's but that they need that depth, man. They need that type of depth. So, and hard to learn something about baseball in Germany. So I appreciate that, Fritz. I appreciate that. I'm gonna try to keep getting good content. So I hope you guys all enjoy it. And again, real life conversation, and especially post game. I'm going to continue putting out other videos as well. But I want to appeal to all different types of folks. So in the country and internationally too. So it's nice to have somebody from Germany in here. That's welcome, man. Welcome, Fritz. That's really cool. 0-2 fastball to Elvis with the bases loaded. Yeah. And that's when he hit that 2-run single. Yeah. And I think that's right when they took Taillon out after that, if I remember correctly. He threw 3 2/3. I'm glad Abreu came in and cleaned it up. I really am. And I'm giving Boone too. He's making the right. He's been making the right moves lately too. We got on him when he made the wrong moves, but I want to give him credit when he's making the right ones. So, and he's doing that right now. And it's good to see him get ejected. Just pissed off and fiery about his team. It's nice to see that side of Boone on occasion as well. So just fighting for his team. Sean, I love it. I wish he had more rants. It was kind of like a little bit of Lou Piniella. It was great to see, man. It's nice to see him get pissed off because he's so even keeled. He's so mild mannered, and all of a sudden you have this veins bulging out of his, and that's where he justifies that Savages t-shirt. And he was like that today. It was good to see him fighting for the team. And sometimes it sparks like a jolt of energy into the guy. So, and it was good to see. Medina, Luis Medina. He's pretty solid prospect too. I wouldn't be surprised if he's up in the bullpen at the very least, and maybe getting a shot at a starting. He'll definitely be at spring training, getting a shot to see if he can get in there. If you're talking about Luis Medina, he's another good-looking pitcher. But Hill looks to me as their top pitching prospect right now, especially what he did in the major leagues. He's got poise, he's got a big arm, he's got command, he's got a lot of control. So, and it's Davy's kind of devoid of some of those things right now, Davy Garcia. But that's okay. Free parking monopoly money. Timothy with Lux down. Yeah, they've reset to 20%, man. After the season, he's stayed under the luxury tax threshold, and I expect him to spend some money this offseason. So I don't know how he brought in all those 4 or 5 guys without really raising the payroll, which is pretty nuts because they only had about $4 million to share, $4 million left under the cap and the threshold, 210, and he got Gallo and Rizzo, he got Clay Holmes, he got all the Joely, he made a lot of moves and didn't hardly added anything. So I was impressed with that. That's where he works his magic. So that's well done for Cashman, really well done. It was a great game. Boone's, he outmanaged Cora when they played Boston. It's nice to see him kind of in a groove himself and making good calls and stuff like that. And he's, I know sometimes he gives these interviews where he's just kind of yes-manning to the media, and it's frustrating, but I get that side too because I think sometimes he might be hamstrung by Hal. But, I think he's starting to play a little bit more instinctual baseball too and not jumping into the analytics pool all the time. It was good to see. Again, it's good to see him put out Wade, and he's making the calls from the clubhouse. Even though he got thrown out, he's got a part in this decision making. So, but it's good to see that stuff. Small ball, that's small ball right there. And the judge hit him in a base hit and drove him in. That's how they won the game. That's small ball. It's just run manufacturing. So, and there's certain things that analytics cannot do, and those are the types of things that I think over are a little bit better than on the analytics stuff. So, but it's well done either way, man. Really well done. Corey Kluber, I don't know. I think they're going to see what he has and then give him a couple starts, Robert, and see what he has. I mean, I don't see him going maybe beyond 4 innings on Monday, but we'll see. It depends on his pitch count and stuff like that. So, but either way, I would still ease him back because he hasn't even gone 4 innings in any rehab start. So I'd be careful with him either way. And you want to disrupt them. I don't want to disrupt the momentum of the rotation either. So, again, I mentioned this earlier that you might see him for 4 innings and then they might bring Heaney in for, 4 innings and save the bullpen that way. And with the rest of the guys that they still have. But that, to me, I see where how Kluber fits. So they're just going to see what they have, what they can get from him the next week or next couple of weeks. And then they'll go from there. And, if he doesn't pitch well, he won't make the postseason roster. And then his Yankee tenure will probably be done. So, Fritz, I'm going to be wrapping up as well, man. But thanks for coming on. But yeah, it's getting late. What are we at? 2 o'clock, pretty much 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. So I appreciate all you guys coming on. I'll be doing this again tomorrow after hopefully Cole shuts down the A's and hopefully we're talking about a 13th consecutive win tomorrow. So, John, I mean, Girardi was good, but he's not great at everything. So he's really not. And he made a bonehead move last night. So he made a really bonehead managing move. So, but it happens. None of these guys are perfect, but thanks you guys for coming on. I really appreciate you, and you are the best. So let's keep rocking and rolling, and enjoy your nights. Talk to you tomorrow.